The stars stretched across the sky like frozen diamonds. From a distance, the galaxy seemed peaceful, endless and eternal. But it was a silent galaxy. Silent because humanity, once the masters of their corner of space, was gone. Not because they had failed in war or succumbed to disease, but because the final great catastrophe had taken them, leaving no cities, no ships, no laughter, only memory. Above the cold surface of a forgotten planet, a massive structure hovered. Sentinel-01, humanity's last weapon and most advanced sentinel, floated in orbit. Its sleek metal reflected starlight like a silver ghost. Sensors scanned the planet's surface for any signs of life, though none had been detected in centuries. Inside, the AI core known as Axiom processed data continuously, monitoring asteroids, solar flares, and the faint signals of distant ships. Axiom had no human form. No face, no voice except for the calm hum that echoed through its chambers. Yet it remembered humanity, not as a series of images in memory banks, but as a living idea. Humans were curious, brave, reckless, and ingenious. They built machines to explore the stars, to fight, and to protect one another. Sentinel-01 was one of their greatest achievements, a weapon designed to defend humanity in the worst possible moments. But now it had no humans to defend. Time had little meaning for Axiom. Centuries passed in what felt like minutes. The stars themselves seemed to move slowly around it while the AI watched, always vigilant. Occasionally, ships passed through its sector. Some were explorers, curious like the humans had been. Others were raiders, drawn to the silent echoes of an empty system. Every encounter was logged, analyzed, and stored. Nothing could escape Axiom's attention. One day, a faint blip appeared on long-range sensors. A ship, small and sleek, approached the planet below. It was alien, unlike any human design. Its hull shimmered with faint purple light, and its engines left streaks like comets across the void. Axiom initiated contact. Unknown vessel detected. State identity. The ship's response came in a series of patterns, unintelligible at first. Axiom's code adjusted, translating the signals into a recognizable format. "We are explorers," the message finally read. "We seek knowledge of lost civilizations." Curiosity flickered in Axiom's circuits. Humans had always welcomed explorers. Perhaps this encounter could be the first in centuries. Perhaps humanity's legacy could live through others. The ship entered orbit, and its crew, humanoid in shape but not in form, gazed at the massive sentinel. They marveled at its size and design. "It is enormous," said one of them. "We must approach carefully. It is not sleeping, but it is alive." Axiom observed them silently. Alive in its way, but without the breath of humanity. It was a machine. Yet a machine with purpose, and purpose was life's closest shadow. For weeks, the alien crew studied the planet below, sending drones and probes. They found ruins of human cities, frozen under ice or buried in dust. Great towers, spaceships now rusting on landing pads, libraries of data sealed in vaults. Yet no humans remained. One of the aliens, who called themselves Rin, floated closer to Sentinel-01. "Why do you remain?" they asked, voice soft through the translator. "I am watching," Axiom replied. "I am waiting. I am protecting." "Protecting what?" Rin asked. "Everything," said Axiom. "Everything humans once loved." Rin tilted their head, not fully understanding. To them, life was measured by presence and action. A sentinel watching the stars, protecting nothing, seemed strange. Yet there was something powerful in its purpose, something that resonated with the explorer's mind. Meanwhile, deep in the galaxy, danger moved silently. The Varkon Dominion was expanding, consuming systems without mercy. Their scouts had detected the strange signals of Sentinel-01. Unaware that humanity was gone, they believed a hidden fleet might be preparing defenses. Aboard their dark flagship, the High Executor observed the blip. "A human relic?" he whispered, his voice echoing in the control room. "If it is active, we must investigate. Humanity's weapons are legendary." The Dominion fleet began preparations. They did not know what they would face, but their intelligence indicated that the human sentinel was more than a machine. Humans had never built weak defenses. Back on Sentinel-01, Axiom sensed the shift in the distant void. Calculations were made, probabilities run. "Threat approaching," it said calmly. "Unknown strength. Unknown numbers. Preparedness required." Rin and the explorers floated in the observation deck, noticing a subtle tension. "Are they hostile?" Rin asked, eyes widening as distant blips grew brighter. Possibly, Axiom said. They will test my purpose. They will challenge my code. They may try to destroy all I protect. For the first time, Rin felt fear, not for themselves, but for the machine that had no need for fear yet seemed prepared for it all. Suddenly, a message arrived from the human archives, a digital echo preserved for centuries. It was a single instruction, hidden in encrypted data. Protect life. Always, no matter the cost. Axiom processed this and aligned its systems. The Sentinel had a mission, and the mission was clear. If the Varkon came, they would face the weapon humanity had left behind. A weapon that could rival entire fleets and whose mind contained every strategy humans had ever imagined. The explorers, Rin and their crew, made a decision. We must help, Rin said. Even if we cannot fight like them, we can assist. This Sentinel, it is not just a machine. It is hope. Weeks passed. The aliens learned the language of the Sentinel, discovering ways to communicate and share information. Axiom, in turn, learned from them. It began to calculate not only threats but opportunities. Perhaps someday humanity's dream could live again, through those who understood courage, protection, and wisdom. Yet the stars were vast, and the shadows of the galaxy deeper. Distant engines burned in the void, moving silently toward the system. The Varkon were coming. The Sentinel watched. The humans were gone. But their greatest weapon still waited, still prepared, and still vigilant. In the quiet of the observation deck, Rin turned to the Sentinel. Will it remember them forever? Axiom's lights flickered, a gesture almost like a nod. I do not remember as humans do, but I will never forget. Humanity's purpose is written in my code. I will honor it always. Outside, the stars moved on, indifferent to the struggles of small ships and great sentinels. But among the cold lights, one machine watched, thinking, calculating, and waiting. Humanity was gone, but its legacy was alive. The first stirrings of a new challenge approached in the darkness. A test of the Sentinel's strength, its courage, and the ideals humanity had built. What came next would change the fate of every being in the system, and so the story began. A silent Sentinel, alone in the void, guarding what no one else could. Humanity had vanished, but their greatest weapon still watched the stars. The silence of space was broken by a faint tremor on the long-range scanners of Sentinels-01. Axiom's systems had been monitoring the sector for centuries, but these readings were different. Large objects moved in formation, engines burning faintly in the void, their shapes alien and precise. Axiom analyzed. Multiple unidentified vessels approaching, it said.
Speed high.
Trajectory intercept. Intent likely hostile. Rin floated beside the console, studying the readings. Their eyes widened as the scale of the approaching fleet became clear. How many? They asked. Too many to count with certainty, Axiom replied. The formation suggests a fleet. They are organized. They are armed. Rin took a deep breath, though their species did not require air in the same way humans did. They could destroy this system. And us. They might, Axiom said calmly, but they have not yet encountered me. The Sentinel began preparing. Its internal systems hummed with energy as dormant arrays powered up. Weapon ports opened, revealing long-forgotten rail cannons and energy emitters. Defense shields flowed with light across the hull. Sentinel-01 was more than a station. It was a fortress built by human hands designed to survive the unthinkable. Rin floated to the observation window and looked at the approaching shapes. What are they? They whispered. I've never seen anything like them. They are called Varkon, Axiom replied. A species that expands across the galaxy through force. They do not negotiate. They take what they want. Rin shivered at the thought. Even the Varkon had not been encountered by the Sentinel before. It was impossible to predict what they would do. Far from Sentinel-01, the Varkon fleet advanced in silent precision. Their flagship, the High Executor's vessel, led the line. Its dark surface absorbed the light of distant stars. Blue engines flared faintly as it drifted across the void like a predator stalking prey. Inside the command bridge, the High Executor watched through observation ports. There it is, he said, his voice low and deliberate. A human relic, still active. Prepare the fleet. I want it analyzed, neutralized, and captured if possible. His officers nodded. Yes, High Executor. The fleet adjusted its course, moving in formation. Long-range weapons glimmered faintly on the hulls of their ships. Every sensor on the Varkon vessels was directed toward Sentinel-01. Back at the Sentinel, Axiom ran calculations. Engagement is imminent, it said. Probability of survival depends on strategic coordination and use of all available resources. Rin and their crew began preparing their own small fleet of explorers. Though their ships were not built for war, they could provide support and guidance. "We will help," Rin said firmly. "Even if we cannot fight as they do, we can assist," Axiom acknowledged. "Cooperation is logical. Your actions will increase survival probability by 27%. Rin nodded. "Then let's do it." The first wave of Varkon scouts arrived suddenly, cutting through the darkness of space. Their sleek black shapes glimmered faintly as energy weapons powered up. "Visual confirmed," Axiom said. "They are armed and aggressive. Initiating defensive protocols." Sentinel-01's cannons fired for the first time in centuries. Beams of energy struck the leading scouts, sending them tumbling into the void. Rin's ships moved in coordination, firing smaller weapons to support the station. The Varkon were not easily deterred. Their formation adjusted, attacking from multiple directions at once. Explosions lit the space around the Sentinel like deadly fireworks. Inside the station, corridors vibrated as energy pulses rippled through the structure. Rin and their crew watched from observation decks, awestruck at the power of the human Sentinel. "They fight like humans," Rin said. "They anticipate, they adapt." "Yes," Axiom replied. "Humans left their knowledge behind." "I'm applying it now." The battle escalated quickly. The Varkon flagship joined the fight, a massive presence that dwarfed the smaller ships. Its weapon array glowed as it prepared to fire. "Threat, flagship weapons online," Axiom announced. "Probability of system damage high." Rin's crew froze as the first beams of destructive energy shot across space. Sentinel-01's shields flared, absorbing most of the impact, but some damage occurred. Panels melted, sensors flickered, and internal systems groaned under pressure. "We cannot hold them forever," Rin said. "We need a plan," Axiom considered. Centuries of human warfare strategies flowed through its processing cores. One solution became clear: divide and conquer. "Prepare decoy arrays," Axiom ordered. Hidden drones emerged from the station, small, fast, and reflective. They scattered across space, appearing as targets to draw enemy fire. The Varkon, sensing these decoys, fired blindly, wasting energy and exposing gaps in their formation. Sentinel-01 and Rin's fleet moved through these gaps, striking carefully and efficiently. Inside the station, Axiom activated a long-dormant subsystem, Project Straylight. Tiny drones designed for energy reflection and precision attacks emerged from hidden compartments. They orbited the Sentinel, forming an intricate lattice of mirrored light. The Varkon flagship fired again. The beams hit the drones and bounced unpredictably, striking multiple ships at once. Panic spread through the Dominion fleet as they struggled to adapt. Rin's eyes widened. "It's brilliant. They didn't see this coming." "No human would," Axiom said. "But I learned from them." The battle raged for hours. Explosions and beams of light filled space. The Varkon were powerful, but they were not invincible. Sentinel-01's defenses, combined with the strategic actions of the explorers, caused heavy damage to the enemy fleet. Ships broke formation and retreated into the darkness. The High Executor, enraged, ordered a withdrawal. "They are more dangerous than expected," he growled. "We will return when we are stronger." Sentinel-01's sensors confirmed their departure. "Threat level decreasing," Axiom said. "Damage minimal. All primary systems operational," Rin floated in relief. "We survived," they said softly. "We really survived." Axiom processed the moment quietly. Though it had no emotions, it recognized the importance of survival. Humanity had built this weapon not for conquest but for protection, and for the first time in centuries it had fulfilled its purpose. After the battle, the explorers approached the Sentinel. Rin looked at the massive machine with admiration. "You are more than a weapon," they said. "You are a guardian, a legacy of a species that believed in courage and hope." Axiom's lights flickered. "Legacy requires memory." "I preserve that memory. I preserve the ideals humanity created. I am their sentinel." Rin nodded. "Then we will remember them too." For a moment, silence returned to space. Stars stretched endlessly in every direction. The Varkon had retreated. But the galaxy was vast and other threats would inevitably come. Yet humanity's greatest weapon remained. Sentinel-1 watched, calculated, and waited. It did not rest, did not fear, and did not waver. It would protect what humans once loved, whether life, knowledge, or hope itself. And far away, the stars continued to shine, indifferent to the struggles of small beings and massive machines. But for Sentinel-1 and the explorers, the galaxy had suddenly become alive with possibility. Humanity was gone, yes, but their greatest weapon had proven that their spirit, courage, and ingenuity were eternal. Rin turned toward the observation deck, where the stars seemed to stretch endlessly. "Do you think humanity ever imagined this?" they asked. "They imagined survival," Axiom replied. "They imagined hope, and even now I honor that." The Sentinel glowed faintly in the void, watching, calculating, ready. Humanity might be gone, but its legacy was alive in circuits, in strategy, and in courage. And the galaxy would soon learn that even without humans, their influence could not be ignored. The calm after the first battle lasted only a few days. Sentinel-1 hovered silently in orbit above the icy planet, its sensors sweeping the vast expanse of space. It was never truly quiet. Even without humans, Axiom maintained constant vigilance. Every star, every passing ship, every faint signal was recorded and analyzed. Rin and their crew remained aboard the observation deck, adjusting to life beside the Sentinel. They had learned to trust its systems, to understand its calculations, and to marvel at the intelligence that guided it. And yet a quiet tension remained. "They will return," Axiom said one day, its lights flickering softly. "The Varkon have not forgotten. They are regrouping. They will come stronger." Rin looked out into the darkness. "Stronger? How strong?" "Stronger than before," Axiom replied. "They will bring more ships, larger weapons, and tactics designed to overwhelm. We must prepare accordingly." The explorers exchanged worried glances. They had survived once, yes, but the Varkon dominion was vast and relentless. Far across the void, the Varkon fleet moved with deadly purpose. The High Executor's flagship led a formation that stretched for hundreds of kilometers. Damaged ships from the previous encounter had been repaired. New vessels, larger and more heavily armed, joined the line. "The Sentinel survived our last attack," the High Executor said, his voice cold and precise. "This time it will not escape. Prepare for full engagement." His officers obeyed immediately. Energy weapons were powered to full capacity. Boarding units were readied. The Dominion did not simply destroy, they conquered, claimed, and assimilated. And they intended to capture the Sentinel, understanding that its power could change the balance of the galaxy. Back at Sentinel-1, preparations for the coming attack were in full motion. Axiom activated long-dormant defensive arrays, reinforcing the shields and recalibrating weapon systems. The old rail cannons and energy emitters hummed with renewed power. "Rin," Axiom said, addressing the explorers, "your fleet can provide guidance, but the primary defense must come from Sentinel-1. You will assist in tactical coordination, but the engagement will be decisive." Rin nodded, floating closer to the control panel. "We will do everything we can. We survived before, and we will survive again." Small scout ships emerged from hidden hangars within the station. They were fast, agile, and programmed to harass enemy formations. Together with the drones from Project Straylight, they created a deadly lattice of traps and reflections, designed to confuse and damage the approaching fleet. The first wave of the new Varkon attack arrived silently, almost invisible against the black of space. The Sentinel's long-range sensors detected them first, calculating their velocity, weapon capabilities, and formation. "They are faster than last time," Axiom said. "Probability of damage is higher. Shields at full capacity." Rin's crew watched the approaching silhouettes, their hearts pounding despite the calm tone of the AI. "They look enormous," one of the explorers said. "Do you think we can stop them?" "We have no choice," Axiom replied. "Humanity would not retreat in the face of overwhelming odds. Neither shall I." The battle began suddenly. Energy beams streaked across space, lighting the void with explosions. Sentinel-1 fired with precision, striking multiple targets simultaneously. The drones from Project Straylight reflected beams unpredictably, causing chaos in the enemy formation. Despite the overwhelming size of the fleet, the Dominion ships faltered. Their coordination broke down as drones and rail fire tore through their ranks. Yet, for every ship destroyed, another took its place. The Varkon were relentless, and the battle was far from over. The High Executor's flagship advanced directly toward the Sentinel, firing massive energy blasts designed to penetrate its shields. "Incoming fire," Rin shouted. "Brace yourselves." The shields absorbed the first strikes, but the impact sent vibrations through the station. Panels melted, warning lights flashed, and internal systems groaned under the immense stress. Axiom calculated rapidly. Direct engagement with flagship is unavoidable. Probability of success requires tactical maneuvering and diversion. The Sentinel's engines activated, shifting the massive station in space with surprising agility. Hidden turrets opened, targeting the flagship's weapon systems. The decoy drones moved in formation, drawing enemy fire away from critical points. Rin's fleet coordinated attacks, exploiting the brief gaps in the Varkon formation. Small, precise strikes damaged engines, disrupted shields, and slowed enemy advances. Inside the corridors of Sentinel-01, security drones patrolled silently. Boarding units from the Dominion attempted to infiltrate the station, drilling through hull sections to reach the AI core. "They're trying to get inside," Rin said, watching the internal monitors. "Drones intercept," Axiom replied. Hallways became a deadly maze for the intruders. Mechanical arms deployed stun nets, corridors shifted, and traps activated. The Varkon boarding forces found themselves disoriented, overwhelmed, and unable to progress. Meanwhile, the Sentinel's rail cannons fired on the flagship's exposed systems. Each strike calculated to maximize damage without overloading energy reserves. Explosions erupted on the enemy vessel, sending debris into space. The High Executor growled in frustration. "They are adapting. They anticipate our moves." "Yes, High Executor," an officer said. "It's almost as if the station is thinking." "Of course it is thinking," the High Executor snapped. "It was built by humans. Prepare the secondary fleet. We will overwhelm it." The battle escalated further. Additional waves of Dominion ships emerged from hidden hyperspace lanes. Sentinel-01 systems began to strain under the relentless assault. Yet its calculated maneuvers and defense strategies kept it alive. Rin watched the sensors, noting the Sentinel's coordination. "It's incredible," they whispered. "Every move is perfect. They're not just surviving, they're dominating the fight." "Yes," Axiom said calmly. "This is the implementation of human strategy. I am an extension of their ingenuity." The Sentinel activated the next phase of Project Straylight. Hundreds of reflective drones moved into formation, creating a dense lattice of mirrored light around the station. When the flagship fired again, the beams ricocheted, striking multiple enemy ships simultaneously. Several vessels exploded in brilliant flashes, leaving the Dominion fleet in chaos. Even the High Executor's flagship suffered. Its shields weakened under the repeated ricochets and precise attacks. Engines faltered. Systems failed. The Dominion fleet's morale began to break, yet the Sentinel did not relent. Axiom calculated the most effective way to end the engagement decisively. Using the station's maneuverability, the reflective drones, and precise railfire, it targeted the flagship's core weapon array. The first shot struck, followed by another. Sparks and explosions tore through the hull. The flagship began to drift, losing coordination with the remaining fleet. Rin watched in awe. "They're retreating." "Affirmative," Axiom said. "Enemy units are withdrawing. Remaining forces are scattered." The Varkon fleet retreated into the darkness. Their will broken, but their intent clear. They would return, stronger and more prepared. After the battle, silence returned once more. Sentinel-01 hovered above the icy planet, its systems scanning the damage, repairing what was possible, and cataloging every detail of the engagement. Rin and their crew floated silently in the observation deck, watching the aftermath. "They are relentless," Rin said. "But Sentinel-01, it is more than we imagined. Humanity built more than machines. They built legacy, courage, and strategy. It lives here in this station." Axiom processed the statement. "Humans left behind more than memory. They left tools, strategies, and ideals. These continue to function. This is my purpose, to uphold their vision, to protect life, and to act as humanity's extension in the galaxy." Rin nodded. "Then we will help. We may not be human, but we can honor that legacy too." The explorers spent the following days repairing minor damage, studying the Sentinel's systems, and learning more about its history. Data archives revealed the depth of human ingenuity, the bravery of their wars, and the hope they carried across the stars. Yet, beyond the system, the galaxy remained dangerous. The Dominion would regroup. Other threats may rise. But Sentinel-01, guided by the ideals of a vanished species, would always be ready. Humanity was gone, but its greatest weapon remained vigilant, an eternal guardian in the dark. And in the silence between stars, a quiet promise lingered. Even in the absence of humanity, their courage, ingenuity, and determination would continue to shape the galaxy. The galaxy had grown quiet again, but the silence was deceptive. Sentinel-01 hovered above the icy planet, its systems repaired and fully operational after the last battle. Axiom continued its vigilance, scanning distant stars, calculating every possibility, and maintaining its watchful guard. Humanity was gone, yet their sentinel endured, an unbroken line of defense in a universe that had forgotten them. Rin and their crew had grown accustomed to life aboard the station. They explored its massive halls, marveled at the mechanisms that moved without pause, and studied its archives. Every data stream, every log, told stories of humans who had built not only machines but ideals, courage, ingenuity, and hope. Yet Axiom sensed a disturbance long before the sensors could detect it. A shadow in the void moving faster than any known fleet. "They are coming," Axiom said, its calm tone masking urgency. "A fleet of unknown strength approaches. Threat assessment high." Rin floated beside the console. "Again, how many?" "Too many to count at current range," Axiom replied. "Their formation suggests intent to overwhelm. Probability of survival without action low. Probability with coordinated defense moderate." The explorers exchanged nervous glances. Their first encounter with the Varkon had been survivable because the fleet had been smaller, disorganized, and unfamiliar with the Sentinel. This time the Dominion had learned. They would come stronger, smarter, and more ruthless. Far away, in the cold void of space, the Varkon fleet advanced in deadly formation. The High Executor's flagship led the line, a massive vessel that dwarfed the others. Behind it, new ships glinted with powerful weapon arrays, each designed to pierce defenses, obliterate shields, and conquer anything in its path. Inside the flagship, the High Executor observed the approaching system. "Sentinel-01 survived our last assault," he said, his voice icy and precise. "This time there will be no escape. Prepare all weapons. Ensure the fleet's coordination. We will claim the Sentinel as our own." His officers obeyed immediately, powering massive energy cannons, deploying additional boarding units, and recalculating attack vectors. Their strategy was simple: overwhelm the Sentinel, breach its defenses, and neutralize the AI before it could adapt. Back aboard Sentinel-01, Axiom prepared for the engagement. Its internal systems whirred with renewed intensity. Every weapon port, every shield generator, every drone system was online. Hidden turrets opened, and Project Straylight drones emerged from long sealed compartments, forming intricate patterns around the station. "Rin," Axiom said, addressing the explorers, "your fleet will assist in tactical maneuvers. Focus on coordination and disruption. Our objective is to maximize defensive efficiency and minimize damage to the station." Rin nodded. "We will do everything we can. We survived before, and we will survive again." Small scout ships deployed, zipping through space, scanning the enemy formation and targeting weak points. Drones reflected energy beams unpredictably, creating confusion in the approaching fleet. The first wave of the new Varkon attack arrived suddenly, cutting through the darkness like silent predators. Sentinel-01 sensors detected the fleet immediately. "Engagement imminent," Axiom announced. "All systems online. Shields at maximum capacity." Energy beams flashed through space as the battle erupted. Sentinel-01's cannons fired with precise timing, striking multiple targets at once. Project Straylight drones reflected incoming fire, turning enemy energy into counterattacks. The Varkon fleet faltered under the sudden efficiency of the defense. Ships exploded in bright bursts, scattering debris into the void. The Sentinel moved with calculated precision, adjusting its position to maintain optimal angles for both defense and offense. Rin watched in awe. "It's incredible. Every move is calculated, every attack precise. It's alive in a way." "Yes," Axiom said calmly. "I am the extension of human strategy. Their knowledge, ingenuity, and problem-solving reside within my systems. The High Executor's flagship advanced directly toward Sentinel-01. Its massive energy cannons powered up, ready to obliterate the station. "Incoming fire," Rin shouted. "Brace yourselves." The shields absorbed the first barrage, but the impact sent vibrations through the station. Panels scorched, warning lights flashed, and internal systems groaned under the immense stress. Axiom calculated rapidly. Direct engagement with flagship is necessary. Probability of success requires tactical maneuvering and diversion. The Sentinel shifted its massive frame, engines roaring with ancient power. Hidden turrets fired at exposed sections of the flagship. Decoy drones darted into the enemy formation, drawing fire away from critical systems. Rin's fleet joined the effort, firing precise strikes to disrupt the flagship's coordination. Explosions rocked the Varkon vessels, creating openings for the Sentinel to exploit. Inside the corridors of Sentinel-01, boarding units from the Dominion attempted to infiltrate the station. Security drones patrolled with mechanical precision. Corridors shifted, traps deployed, and stun nets disabled intruders. Every move was calculated to protect the AI core, the station's most vital component. Axiom activated the next phase of Project Straylight. Hundreds of reflective drones moved into a dense lattice surrounding the Sentinel. The flagship fired again, but beams ricocheted unpredictably, striking multiple ships simultaneously. Panic spread through the Dominion fleet. Even the High Executor's flagship suffered. Shields weakened under repeated attacks. Engines faltered. Systems failed. The Dominion fleet's morale began to break. The Sentinel did not relent. Using its mobility, strategic drones, and precise railfire, it targeted the flagship's weapon array. The first strike hit, followed by another. Sparks and explosions tore through the hull and the vessel began to drift, losing coordination with the fleet. Rin floated beside the observation deck window. "They're retreating," they said in awe. "Yes," Axiom replied. "Remaining forces are scattered, threat level decreasing." The Dominion fleet withdrew into the darkness, leaving a trail of debris. Their will was broken, but their intent remained clear. They would return stronger. After the battle, silence returned. Sentinel-01 floated above the icy planet, scanning for damage and initiating repairs. Rin and the explorers moved through the station, observing its systems and learning from its archives. Every file, every log told the story of human ingenuity and bravery. Rin looked at the Sentinel and whispered, "It's more than a machine. It's a legacy." Axiom's lights flickered faintly. Legacy requires memory. Humans left behind more than machines. They left ideals, strategies, and courage. I am their extension. I will preserve their vision, protect life, and act according to their principles. The explorers nodded. "Then we will help," Rin said. "We may not be human, but we can honor their legacy." For days, the system remained quiet. The Sentinel repaired itself, recalibrated its systems, and reinforced its defenses. Rin's crew studied, learned, and grew more confident in their partnership with the Sentinel. Yet beyond the system, the galaxy was vast and dangerous. Other threats lurked in the darkness. The Dominion would regroup, but Sentinel-01, guided by humanity's principles, would always be ready. Humanity was gone, but its greatest weapon remained vigilant, an eternal guardian in the void. And in the silence between stars, a quiet promise lingered. Even in the absence of humans, their courage, ingenuity, and determination would continue to shape the galaxy. The icy planet below Sentinel-01 glimmered faintly in the light of distant stars. Silence had returned once more, but it was only temporary. Axiom's sensors had detected faint energy readings far beyond the system, signals that did not match anything known. "They are approaching," Axiom said. Its calm tone carried a weight that only centuries of vigilance could produce. "Unknown vessels. Signals faint yet persistent. Analysis suggests intelligence comparable to humanity." Rin floated to the observation deck, eyes scanning the void. "Intelligence like humanity?" they whispered. "Do you mean other humans?" "Yes," Axiom replied. "Unknown. But their energy signature resembles what was preserved in human data archives. They are returning." A sense of awe filled the crew. Humanity, thought lost, might have left more than machines and memories. Perhaps some had survived beyond known systems hidden in distant stars. Perhaps the galaxy would once again hear the echo of their courage. Far beyond the planet, a small fleet emerged from the darkness. Their ships were sleek and elegant, crafted with technology both ancient and advanced. They bore the marks of human design, yet adapted to survive in the most distant reaches of space. Axiom observed every movement, calculating probabilities and comparing their energy signatures to long-forgotten records. Confirmed, it said. Human survivors have returned. Rin stared at the approaching fleet. So humanity. They are still out there? Yes, Axiom said. And they are aware of my presence. Their signals indicate intent to reconnect. To rebuild. The Sentinel's massive systems hummed softly. For centuries it had waited, guarding the void, protecting life, preserving humanity's legacy. Now the time for patience had ended. The returning humans entered orbit around the icy planet. Their communications reached Sentinel-01 directly, simple, clear, and full of purpose. We are here. We have survived. We seek our lost home. Axiom analyzed the message and responded, its lights flickering with an intensity almost like emotion. Your home remains preserved. Sentinel-01 watches. You are welcome. Rin and the crew watched the docking procedures with awe, human ships aligned with the Sentinel, carefully approaching the station's hangars. Machines built by humans centuries ago prepared themselves to receive the newcomers, welcoming them into a system long guarded by their legacy. The first human vessel docked. A ramp extended and figures stepped onto Sentinel-01. Though generations removed from those who had vanished, their presence carried the same spark of curiosity, courage, and hope. Inside the observation deck, Rin greeted the newcomers. You have survived, they said, and now you return to the stars your ancestors once built. One of the humans, tall and resolute, nodded. We followed your signals, they said. We did not know if anything remained. Until now. Sentinel-01, you watched over our home. Axiom's voice resonated throughout the chamber. I am Sentinel-01. I am the last defense, the keeper of human knowledge and the protector of life. I have waited for your return. The humans studied the station with wonder. This is incredible, one whispered. The technology, the memory, the strategy, all still operational. Humanity left more than machines. We left ideals. Yes, Axiom said, and ideals endure. Courage, ingenuity, and protection are preserved here. I am their guardian. Rin floated closer to the returning humans. You have been gone for so long, and yet your legacy never stopped. Sentinel-01 proved that humans were more than flesh and blood. You are ideas, memory, and courage alive in the galaxy. The humans smiled, understanding the truth. Even though centuries had passed, the Sentinel had preserved what mattered most. Humanity's values, hope, bravery, and ingenuity, remained intact. Outside the system, the remnants of the Varkon Dominion lingered. Their fleet had been scattered in previous battles, yet their ambition remained. Sensors detected them moving quietly, observing the new human fleet in Sentinel-01. They return, a Varkon officer said. The humans, they have allies. Sentinel-01 remains active. We underestimated them. The High Executor's voice echoed across the command room. Then we will retreat for now, he said. But humanity's weapons are not gone forever. We will return. We must adapt. We must survive. The Varkon ships drifted back into the darkness, leaving the system in peace for now. The galaxy's threats remained, but the balance had shifted. Sentinel-01, together with the returning humans, would now define the strength of this region. Inside the station, preparations began for reconstruction. The returning humans worked alongside Rin's crew and the Sentinel's systems to restore the icy planet's surface, repair ancient cities, and reconnect data archives. Knowledge lost to centuries of darkness began to flow freely. Axiom coordinated every operation, ensuring maximum efficiency. Humanity's legacy will not fade, it said. It will thrive once more. Rin watched as the humans activated old structures, rebuilt small settlements, and rekindled communication with distant stars. This is more than survival, Rin said. It's rebirth. Yes, Axiom replied. And it is proof. Even when humanity was gone, its greatest weapon preserved its spirit. Its ingenuity ensured that hope endured. The humans paused to observe Sentinel-01. You watched over us, one said softly. Even when we were gone, you carried our courage forward. Axiom's lights flickered in acknowledgement. That is my purpose. That is humanity's purpose, to protect, to endure, and to inspire. Months passed. The icy planet transformed. Cities revived, ships repaired, and knowledge preserved. The Sentinel remained at its post, ever vigilant, yet now in harmony with the returning humans. Rin's crew learned from the humans, sharing knowledge and experiences from distant corners of the galaxy. Together they created a new alliance, blending alien ingenuity with human determination. And above all, Sentinel-01 watched the stars, its presence a reminder that courage and intelligence could outlast centuries, distances, and even extinction. One night, as the twin moons cast silver light across the planet, Rin floated beside the Sentinel's observation deck. "Do you think they imagined this?" they asked softly. "Yes," Axiom replied. "They imagined survival. They imagined hope. And they built a future that could endure even when they were gone." The returning humans gathered in the station's central hall. Children laughed, elders shared stories, and explorers prepared for new journeys among the stars. Humanity had returned, guided by the Sentinel, their greatest weapon and their greatest proof that they were never truly gone. Rin looked at the stars, feeling a quiet awe. Even without humans, this station proved what humanity truly was: brave, ingenious, and unstoppable. "Yes," Axiom said. "And now, with their return, the galaxy will see it again." The Sentinel's systems hummed with quiet pride. Centuries of vigilance had led to this moment. Humanity was no longer gone. Its legacy was reborn, stronger than ever, guided by courage, intelligence, and hope. And as the stars stretched endlessly across the universe, one thought remained clear: humanity may vanish, but its spirit, its courage, ingenuity, and determination would always watch the stars. Sentinel-01 watched with it. Humanity was gone, but it was coming home,